PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to the 15-Minute Mediator podcast. My name is Nancy Gabriel, and I'm the owner of Mediation Around the Table. As a mediator, I help people in conflict come to their own resolution. I do this by facilitating conversations between the parties and asking questions that require them to actually listen to each other. Candidates for mediation are people who are more interested in coming up with solutions than they are in being right. If you think I might be of help to you in your situation, I encourage you to visit my website, mediationaroundthetable.com, and learn more about the services I've been providing to the Southern Nevada community since 2012. Thank you, and stay tuned for the podcast. Happy New Year, everyone. I am honored today to have this particular person as my guest. And before I introduce you, Laura, what I want to say is I've been a divorce and family mediator for more than 12 years. And once in a while, I maintain a friendship with a former client. It doesn't happen very often. Most of my clients don't want to ever see me again, and I kind of get it. But this person, Laura Richards, and I connected after her divorce was final, and I'm proud to call her my friend. So, Laura, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why we met.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to talk to your audience. So I'm a mom of 3 grown kids, a mother-in-law, a global podcaster, an author, and an aspiring speaker. And you and I met when in 2022, my husband and I needed mediation for our divorce. And you're right. After that, we just kind of connected. I don't know. It was really neat to be able to do that. And I love calling you my friend.
Likewise. So I have been part of your divorce journey since 2022. And I would like to know, and for you to share some key things that you've learned through the process or prior to deciding that you wanted a divorce. How did you land here?
Well, it was not so quick like some people think. You know, we were together 33 years, and so it wasn't an easy decision. But one of the things I did was I did therapy before and after our divorce. You know, that was one of the things that really helped me to understand my worth and my value and decide what do I want from my life. And does that mean staying married or not staying married? And so that was important to me to realize who I am and what my value is as a person and not necessarily as a married person. So that's been important in my life. I still do therapy to this day to kind of work through all that stuff. And the other things I have done is holistic therapy, which are things like meditation, tapping, hypnosis, things like that, because they really help you to look inward and see where maybe you have a block. Because that was important to me. It's like, why did I make these choices? How did I get here?
And I think there's a synergy involved in doing, 1 + 1 = 3, in trying different things and figuring out what's meaningful to you and what maybe not so much. I want to circle back for a second, Laura, if I may. You used a word that's really important to me, and it was pointed out to me by another former client who survived a divorce after a 30+ year marriage. The word is value.
Yeah.
And I've written about it, and I think about what value I bring to the people around me. And so if you can expound upon what that word value means to you, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, it's really when I think about my life, how am I walking through this world? And am I living the life that I want to be living? Am I being treated the way that I think I deserve to be treated? And when I'm interacting with other people, whether that be a spouse, family members, or friends, am I being treated and able to voice my opinions or express a need, and it's being met and it's not being thought of as demanding or things like that? Like, we can all sometimes be a little demanding, but when it's when you need to set boundaries for yourself, maybe you don't want to do a certain thing or whatever, and people are treating you poorly because of that, that's not a safe place. And so I wanted to learn how to set boundaries in my life so that I could live the life that I wanted to live and not live a life for other people,
Right,
just other people. I wanted
right.
to be who
And
the Lord is.
and when you're considering how other people are valuing you, the converse is true as well, because we have to
Yes.
value those around us in
Yes.
order to, get what you give. Make
It's
sense?
true. It's true, and that's the thing is you'll see the people that are around you that are maybe just your go out to dinner friends, and then you have those other friends who are they can talk to you on a deeper level. I'm very thankful for the friends I've had around me who have been through divorce, and so they were able to, talk me off the ledge, so to
Yeah.
speak, say, "You're going to be okay, even if you choose to move forward in divorce, so you're going to be okay."
Right. And that's, no nobody's divorce experience is identical to anybody else's divorce experience. And what I like to tell my clients, two things, and you can chime in.
Uh-huh.
I know I've told them to you.
Yes,
One is time helps. It
yes,
doesn't necessarily heal, but it definitely helps.
yes.
And if I perceive that one of my clients is rushing through, I'll slow their roll just
Yes.
because I need them to make sure that they're in the direction that they want to be in. And the other thing I tell everybody is treat yourself gently.
Yes, that was definitely something that I needed to, and I still need to remind myself to give myself some grace and be a little more gentle on myself. I want to rush forward. I want to move forward. I ignorantly thought that as I walked out of my marriage that, I'm getting rid of the quote unquote problem in my life. And so I thought I would just heal really quickly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I've been grieving. I've been healing and unraveling 33 years with a person. And so
Yeah.
I have to be a little more gentle with myself. Sometimes I feel like I've made a ton of progress. And then there's other days where I still cry because what just happened to my life, but it's actually a lot better than it is worse because you're right, time does help.
Yeah. And a
Time,
divorce is a death. It's a
it
death of a marriage. And so and I know you know this about me, but I've been volunteering for 6 or 7 years with an organization called Adam's Place, a nonprofit that helps children deal with loss.
yeah,
And so I have taken extensive training on grief, and I lost my husband, and
yeah.
so I and my parents, and so I've experienced my own loss. And divorce is a loss. It's a death of a marriage.
It is, and that's hard, and I actually really didn't realize that, so I'm glad you brought that up. You're going to grieve in a way that you do just like the loss of a person, even though they're still alive, and so that's why it's very confusing to your brain as well, and why it's so important to do some of these, therapy and holistic therapy and, lots of other things to heal your mind because you are going through a strange time. You're grieving someone who's still alive, and
Yeah,
that was
and we call it self-care.
yeah.
In grief training, we call it self-care, and that's exactly what you're doing. And the most important thing, I want you to tell me I'm right about this, Laura. The most important thing is nobody grieves in the same manner. Nobody handles their end of their relationship in the same way. There isn't a manual or a timetable. We're all unique in that respect, correct?
Oh, that's for sure, and it's nice to hear from other people what they went through, so that's helpful. It's helpful to talk about things like this on this kinda show
Mhm.
so that people know that they're not alone and they are not going through something abnormally, I guess, but typically you're going to find that the typical is not the norm. You're gonna
Yeah,
go through it the way I'm surprised at the way I feel even 16 months later.
yeah, yeah. And so this is a good segue for me to ask you about the book you wrote.
Yes.
Tell us the title, tell us the inspiration, talk about the dedication if you want.
Oh, sure. Well, one of the dedications of my new book was to Nancy because I did say for to Nancy for giving me the gift of freedom and friendship. Nancy, you were instrumental in giving me that next step for freedom.
Thank you.
I mean, you were a big step in that. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
And then of course your friendship. My book is called There Is Hope: 52 Keys to Healing After Divorce. it's just the little things that I've learned in the last 16 months. It's not an exhaustive list, but it's things that have helped me. And it's just a very simple book. There's room for journaling in it if you want to, if you write in a book. And it's just, I hope it's something helpful that people can take with them. It'll give you a year's worth of ideas. I had a friend tell me yesterday that she said, "Oh, you had things in the book that I never thought to do." And she's been divorced 16 years. And so
Wow.
she's going to try some because she hasn't healed certain parts. And that's why I thought it was important to give people ideas on how to heal.
What a huge compliment to you. And I just want to tell you that I've read the book twice, and it's a very quick,
Yeah.
easy, it's 52, say the title again.
Keys. 52 keys to healing
Keys.
after
Okay, I
divorce. Yeah.
missed the word keys.
That's
And
okay.
and each one is a sentence or two. So you
Yeah.
can refer back, you can read one a day or whatever, but I have to tell you that I didn't read the dedication the first time I read your book. And so when I reread it, I was pretty much awestruck that you mentioned me and very complimented. Give us a few keys that might be significant or were the most helpful to you.
Sure. So I did mention therapy. Therapy is still my go-to. And then holistic therapy has been important to me because we are a whole body. And so I've been working on things in my mind. So doing different things, tapping, hypnosis, meditation, things like that, because it helps you with your mind and really heals you that way. Journaling has been imperative for me to write down my feelings. It was even before my divorce and then during and then after, writing down all those things. Nobody's going to read it. And I'm actually writing in the process of writing a companion journal to go with the book so that
Right.
people can journal their thoughts and feelings during that. And then friendship time, but I want to stress that it has to be safe friends. I have found many unsafe friends who don't want to hear about it or whatever. They just dismiss you. You have to find those safe friends who will let you talk about your experience and give you a safe place to land and maybe even say you're going to be okay. I
Right.
went through a divorce and it was hard, but it was okay and things like that, and just help you through that time because you're just swimming in grief and you don't know what to do.
And
And
we
then
need to be listened to. We need to be
oh,
heard.
yes, that's important. And because we all have that deep desire. So it's important to find safe friends you can do that with. And
Mm.
then for me, and I had this, repeated and reminded to me many times is exercise, no matter what it is. Get your good endorphins going in your body. That will heal your mind and that will make you feel better. There's a time for laying in bed and being sad and watching Netflix, but there also you have to move your body to get the good chemicals going to your brain.
Right. We talk at Adam's place, we talk a lot. I talk with the adults a lot about coping skills because
Yeah.
after my husband died, my coping skill was a bottle of vodka, and I don't recommend that.
Right.
But getting out and moving and having a purpose, and for me, journaling, I started journaling religiously after my husband died, and that was almost 16 years ago. And I religiously journal every night. I always write. Sometimes it's a sentence or two. Sometimes it's getting stuff
Yeah.
out of my brain and onto paper so I can let it go. But
Yeah.
always, 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 my journal entry ends with what I'm grateful for that day.
Yeah.
And tonight's journal entry will be, I'm grateful for you, Laura.
Oh,
Sometimes I'm just grateful for French fries, and it doesn't have to
yes.
be deep. You know,
No, it doesn't. And that's what people think, right?
right.
It has to be deep, but it doesn't.
So, in the last minute or so we have left, tell us how we can get your book.
Well, if you go to that's where I'm at podcast.com, you can actually see the link for my book right there. You can get it as an ebook on your Kindle or Kindle app or in paperback. And then I also have a free gift for your audience. It's also on the that's where I'm at podcast.com website. There's a free gift, a downloadable journal for anyone who's interested in starting their journaling journey.
Thank you. So that's where I'm at podcast.com. And there's no
Yes.
apostrophe in the word that.
No, 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 not at
That's
all.
where I'm at podcast.com. Laura,
Yes.
I cannot thank you enough. You are an inspiration to me,
Oh,
just because I know what you've been through, and look at you smile with that pretty smile of yours.
thank you.
So
I
thank you
appreciate you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
My pleasure. Bye, everyone. See you next month.